comes out to $15 a foot. I mean, and that's a good deal for one story, you know. And again, with the metal roof, this system protects the gutters from snow heave. And that's one of the things with metal roofs that you run into is snow tends to come off in the spring in 50, 60-pound chunks, and it can pull the gutter right off. When you have that deflector in there, it skips over. It can't pull the gutter off. So there's a few advantages to that system.
So I'm adding up in my head. So I got 720 for the cover. I've got 100 for the down thing, whatever.
You're awful.
The tank would be, you were saying quite a bit smaller tank than I had thought. I thought I was going to put about 1,000-gallon tank.
Well, I need to get into it a little bit more in depth before I start popping numbers, especially prices, because I can get into deep doo-doo doing that.
When we're filming.
I can some film.
Right.
Get this on tape right. But I'm at maybe $2,000 or $3,000.
Yeah, you're not in a huge investment here. You know, the systems that we have installed that are full-fledged systems are under $10,000. They're $7,000 depending on what is going on. And we've left it capable to do more, meaning where the pressure line goes into a manifold and then goes to its various uses. We leave some of them blank, so if should he get the impetus to flush his toilet, he can just hook it up and flush his toilet. Or use a washing machine or something else. But the system is expandable once you have that control in the home. You know, the sky's the limit here with this water.
And you would say I should rethink my strategy and put the tank inside? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I have never talked to you in depth on it, Ron, and the mind works. You can't help it. And I felt that, yeah, if it was my house, I would, my son different, you know. He knows as much about it or more than I do. And I think he was talking about burying it, if he would recommend it.
Well, that's what they do in Germany.
Yeah.
They put them in the ground.
They bury
They don't freeze like we do, right?
You know, but we can bury them in the ground without freezing them. We can put what I call an insulation bib there, so the frost can't penetrate. So yeah, you only have the maximum 4-foot manhole, and the frost, of course, is like 8 feet.
Mm-hmm.
So
be more expensive tanks, so it's either that or a room basement. So
Yeah, it's probably cheaper.
You've got your slimline tanks on.
oh yeah, the other option, of course, is for existing buildings, you have your slimline 29-inch wide tanks, 5 feet long, 5 feet high or more, depending on your capacity. And you can drop them in through doorways. You can bring them down, providing you can turn them on the stairs or whatever it takes to get them in. But they're 29 wide, so that doorways of 32, you can easily get them in.
Well, right now we have a 1,600-liter tank that's filled by hauling water. It lasts us about 6 or 8 weeks. 1,600 gallons, sorry. And I'm thinking you could probably cut that in half and use one of these for the other half, and you'd be the same amount of space. Because you wouldn't need as big a tank, right?
No.
For the fresh water, because you'd be using this for your flushing.
Right.
The problem, I guess, is January, February, March, April with no rain.
It's quite a few months between rain events, and you're going to be needing another source.
Well,
That's
we'll have
for
another source.
Yeah.
We've got another source for sure.
Yeah, I think that's.
I guess you could pour your potable water into the rain storage in winter. Like it would still flush the toilets, it's all hooked up to do that.
The top-up system, you mean? Like top up your tank that's running your toilet?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
if he has a rainwater system flushing his toilet and doing his clothes, in the summertime it gets filled by rain, but in the wintertime it'll go dry. He's hauling water into his potable tank anyway, so he could haul water into the rainwater tank.
Yeah, you can, and have the rainwater tank dedicated to these purposes.
Yeah.
This in the city, you're on acreage, so you probably have more flexibility.
You know, the same rules, but we
No,
just
same rules.
cheat them.
Okay, turn off the camera. No, you may have to go on your own in some of these cases. And what we have found, the plumbing inspector comes, he looks at it and he says, I don't see anything wrong, but I don't know what I'm looking at. And that's as far as it goes, you know. And he says it's up to the homeowner to keep it, if that's what he wants, you know. So, but for your specific thing in this home where it's going to go, I'd like to take some time and come up with some ideas and some calculations, and I'm not real quick with numbers, I need to sit down and work with it. And make some proposals for you. Now I know a little bit more about what your plans are.
Well, it's just the whole point, is we've got very expensive water there, so it makes your payback better, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and considering that rainwater can be used for any purpose that you can imagine, you know, given the sanitation and filtration, it's the right move to make. Maybe it's a little iffy in these economic circumstances, but clearly water's going up like almost 10% a year. And it's not going to be long before we're experiencing shortages like other parts of North America.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. It was fun for me too. I probably missed a lot.